So today we will just go ahead with wherever we have left yesterday. Let me share my screen. See, Om Sri Guru Namaha. Swami Chinmayananda, he says in one of his lectures that when the time is right, the Lord, in a mysterious way, brings about first the communication and then ultimately the communion between the teacher and the taught. So here, when we say Nachiketa, Nachiketa has many meanings. He's one who does not lose his energy in an infinite cycle. We lose a lot of our energy in resorting to wasteful thoughts and deeds. So Nachiketa, one of the meanings is that he does not lose his energy. He's not in this loop of birth and death. Then the second boon we were talking about is Nachiketa's sacrificial fire. Okay. So that sacrificial fire is explained by Lord Yama to little Nachiketa. So he says that he gives him a boon saying that Vaishvanara Agni, which is usually called Vishwa Nara. Vishwa is the entire universe. Nara, the Purusha. It could be attained, a state of Vaishvanara, a state of universal consciousness, we can say, can be attained through a mysterious upasana. Upasana is a practice. This could be attained by imagining and in internal meditation, the external sacrifice. Okay. It means that we can imagine a homa or a havan, an external homa that is imagined on the inside. So here, this Nachiketa Agni is taking us from the external sacrifice of Gautama to an internal one of the little one. So then Lord Yama says, I understand that. You know that I know. It means that Lord Yama by now is convinced that Nachiketa is very clear about his questions, about his aspirations. And here he explains to him the practice of this sacrifice called Nachiketa Agni. See, Agni is fire. Fire is the origin of everything. And he says that the creation emanates from that. So this sacrifice could be done externally or internally. Being meditators, we would prefer to do it internally. So we just think of the Havan or Homam or Yajna in the inside of our heart region and meditate upon that. Okay. So, but here there are very many details given by Lord Yama, which are not totally given to the humanity. Like, the number of bricks are mentioned usually. And the detailed procedure, the step-by-step procedure is not handed over to us. There are 3 steps in any fire sacrifice. We invoke the Devata, where we sacrifice our weaknesses. We ask for burning the sacrifice. Whatever is given to Agni or fire, that gets burnt. So we invoke the Devatas and request them to accept this sacrifice as an offering. And then we request for the blessings. This is how the steps are. it is here that Lord Yama says, Vaishvanaragni, which is usually called as, will now from now on, will be called as Nachiketagni. In the name of Nachiketa. Here, he gives a multicolored garland to him. Most of the things here are symbolic. So the multicolored garland here symbolizes the Prakriti, the nature. So the spiritual experience in this condition is compared to a garland of different colors that adorns the seeker. So this indicates that experiences are not, experience is not one, but there are many. When this is understood, one is blessed with the universal knowledge of past, present, and future, the memory of previous births. One gets all of this. So this is a multi-color garland. In Telugu, we say Rangula Mala. Yama has given this Rangula Mala to Nachiketa. Here, we come across another word called three Nachiketas, the three fires. And symbolically, they are translated to the offering of the mind, intellect, and soul. So this meditation, meditating on the fire internally, imagining the fire to be similar to the one we carry out in the external world. So the three fires have been explained by Lord Yama. These are indicative of piercing through the mind, intellect, and soul. Usually there are many trees. The same concept is explained in many ways, in different ways, because the experiences are different for different sadhakas, right? So another explanation, it says that it is a threefold gathering of knowledge, the father, the mother. Each signifies, father signifies knowledge, mother signifies knowledge, guru signifies the ultimate knowledge. So it means that when this meditation is done, we gather knowledge from different arenas. Threefold. The knowledge gathering is threefold. So this could be attained, this knowledge could be attained by performing the three duties called the tapas, dana, and yajna. So here, what does tapas mean? So this we have discussed, the various types of sadhanas one must do, we have discussed. And now here we are trying to interpret what it means. Now here tapas means restraining oneself from one's passions. See, we are trying to sit through these 40 days, because there are many other things which we would like to do. But still, we are doing this tapas by trying to abstain from all these passions. Next is dana. Dana is giving out oneself to the world. And the next one is yajna. So dana, when we give something to the world, the ego is lost. So by doing these sadhanas, by performing these sadhanas, we are losing some of the most unwanted aspects in us. So the ego is lost by doing dana. Yajna is sacrificing one's individual. See the whole form. When we were discussing about the Angushtamatra Purusha, Angushtamatra Purusha is Paramatma surrounded by various layers, many layers, which gives a form to that. And that form is similar to the external form. So all these layers of form by attachment to various things. So by doing this sadhana, the tapas, dana, and yajna, all these outermost layers are dropped. So even the individuality, mostly we refer to, is sacrificed. We are giving even that, we are giving away even the individuality. So he says, Nachiketa, I have told you the secret of internal meditation. But this is where we have to underline and take it back. So, Nachiketa Agni will be performed internally. The yajna, the homa, everything will be performed internally. So see, when light is nurtured, it becomes fire. Fire has this quality of consuming everything. It burns, it just burns. And see this Nachiketa Agni being performed in the region of the heart. So that second fort we were talking about, the second fort has desires, it's full of desires. When this meditation on this Agni, Nachiketa Agni, is performed, all the desires get burnt, is what the understanding should be. So, symbolically, one lights this fire, as has been explained by Lord Yama, thrice. The fire has to be lit thrice. So it keeps burning inside. And we sacrifice all that we have, all that we call it as belonging to us, or a part of us, or the very I is burnt in that fire. So by breaking them, one becomes Jivan Mukta. Yesterday also we have come across this word, Jivan Mukta. That means we don't have to die. By being in this body, we understand what death is. We understand what evolution is. So it means you don't have to take another birth to die. We die in this body itself, not physically, internally. So when one is freed from all the sorrow, so which we get attached to, when there is attachment to a particular aspect, there is sorrow because we don't achieve something in that area, or we don't get what we want. Then the sorrow comes. So we go beyond the dvandvas, the twos. So we are freed from all the sorrow, and the one reaches the highest heaven of divine bliss. So where is this divine bliss? It is here in the mind, in the highest mind, in the universal mind. So the third boon, that was the second thing, Nachiketa Agni. So in the previous sessions, we have not discussed about how exactly the fire is performed. So we were thinking that it's some external fire, but now we understand that this external fire is imagined internally. That is the second boon that Lord Yama has given to the seeker in us. And now the third boon. Nachiketa is very clear with his questions. He says, I would not ask you of any material object, but a knowledge which I would wish to receive. What happens to the soul when it reaches its final death? Extinction of personality. What happens then? Some hold that there is nothing. They say everything is void. Some say that there is something. This is all the version of Nachiketa. Some says there is nothing. Some says there is something. So he was requesting the Lord Yama, who's authorized to tell us about the life, one who knows, one who is death himself, can explain what life is to us. So the boy was very particular that the Lord gave away the knowledge. So he says, I shall regard this as a blessing to me, and this shall be the third boon. And then Nachiketa says, I shall not be satisfied with all the things you offer. He was offering many materialistic things. And he says, Lord Yama also says that even the gods are confused. Please don't ask me about that. Who are the gods? Who are the devatas inside us? The senses, the indriyas, They are the devatas inside us. So this sort of a subject has to be understood or related or translated to the inner meaning, or the interpretation has to take us to a deeper self, right? So here he was saying, Lord Yama was saying that the gods even have doubts. Who are the gods? Who are the devatas? They are the indriyas, the senses inside us. And then he says, what happens to the soul in the last stage? And he also tells the Lord, Nachiketa shall not ask another question. Nachiketa does not want anything else. I need only the answer to this question. And then the Lord, he explains about the Shreyas and prayers. We have discussed enough on that. That which is pleasurable and that which is good. So usually we run behind the pleasures and we often ignore that which is good for us. So the pleasures, they give us immense happiness. The name itself is explains to us. But why the good need not be necessarily pleasant? So whatever is good, it need not be pleasant, but the pleasant is not good. So he tries to give us, drive us to a point where, and he suggests us to choose that which is good and not which gives us pleasures. That is the underlying. So here Lord Yama gives the knowledge of Omkaram, which we have been practicing over the days. The knowledge of Omkaram is given to the seeker, the sadhaka, which is the Omkaram. Yama says, the goal which all the Vedas declare, which all the austerities aim at, and which men desire when they lead the life of continence, I will tell you briefly, it is Om. He says that Om is the Brahman. It is the highest. There's nothing beyond. And whoever knows this syllable, he gets whatever he desires. You see the trick here. And where is the desire left? When by the second boon itself, when all the desires are burnt, all the desires which are leading us to the world which is outside, external, they're all burnt by now. And so the desire now is a higher one. The desire for moksha, the desire for liberation, the desire for the last one in the Chaturveda Purusharthas. So he says, just know the syllable. It is enough for you. And he also explains about the nature of Atma, nature of self. So here Lord Yama is taking us towards the self-realization. The body could be destroyed, the body could be burned or buried. But the Atma is indestructible. It is eternal. And now he also explains that the knowing self is not born. It doesn't take a birth. It does not die. It does not come from anything. And nothing comes from that. See, there are no tools here, nothing. There is only one. It is birthless. It is everlasting. Sanatana. Sanatana is ancient. Ancient. Don't know from when. It is always there. It has been always there. It will be there. It is not killed when the body is killed. In Rudram, no, they say that Hara Hara Namas Somaya cha Rudraya cha Namas Tamraya cha Arunaya cha Namas Sangaya cha Paspate cha Namo Ugraya cha Bhimaya cha Agre Vadaya cha Dure Vadaya cha Namo Hantre cha Haniyase cha, it comes. Hantre cha. Rudra is referred to as the killer and the killed. You are everything, they say there. It means that they are not different. So usually killing, there is when a killing happens, there is a killed, the person who is killed, and a killer. There in Rudram, they say that you are everything. There is no differentiation between both. Though there might appear to be two, there they are referring at the all-pervading Atma, which is everywhere, all-pervading, which is the same. They're taking us to the central dot, the Paramatma, which is there everywhere. If the killer thinks he kills, and if the killed man thinks he's killed, neither of these apprehensions is right. The self kills not, nor is killed. That is the inner meaning of that. It means that Atma is one. It is not two. And whatever understanding is there, that has to be linked to the dharma. So by reading these, we cannot resort to killing somebody and say that both of us are the same. It's not that. There is again dharma, underlying dharma, and that which is good. See, we have seen the prayers and shreyas. Only such an action which is good for us, for everybody, has to be undertaken. Atma is smaller than the small, greater than the greater. Is hidden in the hearts of all living creatures. We have to underline this. So the oneness is explained. A man who is free from desires beholds the majesty of the self through tranquility of the senses and mind. See, all the senses, they turn towards manas. Manas turns towards the intellect. We have seen the sequence in the Radha Kalpana. And manas towards the intellect turns inward towards the Paramatma. So it becomes introverted. The whole mechanism here becomes introverted. It turns inward. And thereby, he becomes free from the grief. So the wise man, having realized Atman as dwelling within impermanent bodies, but itself is bodiless. You see, the Atman is dwelling within impermanent bodies. This physical body, which is impermanent, but Atman itself is bodiless. It is vast. It is all-pervading. It does not grieve. There is no grief to this oneness called Atman. So, when all the desires are burnt, the action, we are withdrawing our actions, right? Consciously. Most of the actions are conscious. So thereby the karma is also not generated. Even if it is generated, we are not akarmakrit. We do perform actions, but with consciousness, wherein the karma does not touch us. So we are offering even the karma, right? We are offering even the karma. So the good or bad or the merit or demerit which is coming from the karma doesn't touch us, right? And then whose mind is not at peace. Yeah. So one who is restless. When is one restless? When there are desires, when the desires are not fulfilled. So when one performs the meditation of this Nachiketa inside for some time, every day, then and offer all these desires, throw all these desires in that fire, eventually, after some time, the desires are burnt, the mind will become peaceful. Then the concept of this Atman, then this oneness is understood. It is realized only through the knowledge of reality. There, the Radha Kalpana, this we have discussed enough, where all this inner mechanism turns inward. So there, the Jivatma is the master of the chariot. We have seen enough of this. So here, the buddhi is restrained. Then all the other senses, they come under our control, like the good horses of a charioteer. And now what is the supreme goal? See here, beyond the sense objects is the mind. Beyond the mind is the intellect. And beyond the intellect is the great Atman. It is still here that we have seen or we have discussed. There is much beyond. See, there is no difference between the Atman who is sitting inside and the Atman who is the cause of all this. Because the Paramatma has manifested as each one of us. So, Aham Brahmasmi. We are that. We are Brahma. The one inside us is Brahma, the greatest. So there is something beyond this great Atman for us to go deeper and deeper and deeper. So this is taking us to the deeper layers. Beyond the great Atman is the unmanifest, avyakta, that which is not manifested. The manifest, we are all, this whole Prakriti is manifested one. And the cause beyond that is unmanifested. So they are not two again. The unmanifested has manifested. That which is avyakta has is also avyakta. Both are the same. The Shiva Shakti concepts, when we learn, we understand that they are not two, but they are one. When it is unmanifest, it is Shiva. When it is manifest, it is Shakti. We can understand like that. And beyond this unmanifest, also there is the Purusha. And beyond the Purusha, there is nothing. And sadhakas, they aspire to reach this end where we are beyond all these understandings. There is an experience which takes us to a state of mind where there is nothing. There is no analysis. There is no analogy. There is no unmanifest, no manifest, nothing beyond when we go. That is the supreme goal. And how do we reach this? We reach this in our meditation. So initially the meditation would be for, as we have been practicing, for 1 hour. You see, the divine is always available. The divine is always available, but we are not available. We are making initially ourselves available for 1 hour. Later on, as the sadhana deepens, we are always in contact with that. See, there then with Swami Chinmayananda was mentioning, there is a union. There is a communion. Initially, it is a communication which is happening for 1 hour. Now here, the Guru is Brahma himself. The Guru is the supreme goal himself. Gradually, slowly, we reach a point where we are always available to the divine. The divine is available to us, but we are lost in many of our activities. So, though externally we will be doing many works and playing many roles, internally, a state of communion happens. That is the supreme goal, wherein we experience that oneness. Okay, so let there not be any hurry. Gradually, initially, we have to focus on offering all our desires in that me. And gradually, the supreme goal can be reached. And that is where, so the qualities of Atman. See, there are no attributes to Atman or Atma. no attributes. But still we are trying to understand that with the help of some attributes which we understand. We understand sound. We understand form. We understand what a physical depth is. So we understand what sensory organs are. Absence of all of this are the attributes of the attributeless Atman. So it is necessary for us to understand this, the highest Atman, with the help of some of the attributes we know. There's nothing wrong in understanding through from the known to the unknown. So there is no beginning, no end. And that is why this dharma is often called, is to be called as Sanatana Dharma. Don't know since when. It has the knowledge of the Sanatani, the Sanatan. That which is always there, that which has no end, that which has no beginning. It is beyond something which we know as great, that which is not changing at all. And we are that. We understand that there is no difference between these two, this and that. There is no difference between this and that. That understanding is freeing us from the jaws of death. So I shall stop here. No, it may look a little theoretical, but I would suggest you all to focus on the second boon, where we are instructed to perform that fire, sacrificial fire in the heart region. We know that all the practice is taking place in the Anahata region. It is there that this sacrificial fire has to happen in our meditation. And in that, we know what our desires are. That is the offering we make. Please take this away with you. Ashok.
Yeah, anyone wants to share or have a question to be clarified, please. Otherwise, we can go with our meditation. Ajlashu ma'am, is tomorrow is going to be a recap or it's going to be question?
Yeah, tomorrow also I need it.
Yeah.
I need it.
No,
I need to.
No, absolutely. We have time. There is no rush in.
Tomorrow I shall wrap it up. Yeah. Because I just wanted a little more value to be added to the session so that it deepens our practice. Yes, Dinesh. Yeah. Adi Purush, Adi Shakti, Adi Dharma. Yes, sir. Thank you for that. So, that we, like actually, Priya, such a knowledge is not given in detail to people like us. So it is not given. It is to be given from the master directly. And therefore, initially just light it, just as we light the fire 3 times, you can light the fire inside 3 times at this point. And offer your desires in that fire. That's all. Beyond that, the information is not given to normal people like us. And gradually the detail happens to us. It comes to us in our meditation. And you see, the everything is detailed in the Vedas. The number of bricks, the arrangement of the bricks. And every detail is given in a sequential way. But at this point, not to us. So it's enough that if you imagine lighting the fire thrice, no detail is given beyond this at this point. and just light the fire thrice as we do at home, or as we do a sacrifice, we would have seen some sacrificial fire, right? Just as they light the fire, symbolic again, 3 times. Light it inside, offer your desires in the meditation. Whatever the external fire is done, do it internally and see the magic happen. And if the detail is required to us, it will come to us. It will come to us. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
I think, yeah, to Parameshwaran, sir.
Only one sloka from the Upanishad I will tell now, which is relevant for what she talked now. Sarve Veda Yadpadam Amanandi Tapamsi Sarvani Cha Yadvadandi Yadichando Brahmacharyam Charandi Tat Te Padam Sangrahena Bravimi Om Iti Etat. This is the answer to a question by Yama giving. The goal which all Vedas proclaim, which all penances declare, and desiring which they lead the life of Brahmacharya, I tell it to you in brief. It is Om. This is one stanza. So Om is so supreme, that is why we are chanting Om. So one more to understand that Om, chanting itself, how great it is and where it can take us. And while sacrificing everyday life, while eating, that itself is a yajna. Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva Praninam Deham Ashrita Pranapana Samayukta Pajamyanam Chadurvidam, Bhagavad Gita says. So eating itself, treat it as like that. Everything should become the breathing can be a yajna. So everything. So as Swami Vivekananda said, Uttishthada Jagrada, arise awake. So living in awareness itself becomes, yes, it can be sacrificed ultimately. It's all baby steps, but unless we take the baby steps, we cannot go to that highest realm, right? So again, let us invoke the grace of whomever you call the ultimate. That's all. Om, Om, Om. That's all. Let us do relaxation first and do little of Sukha Pranayama, cleansing the nadis, opening up, taking deep breaths always. Relief is received. Become cool and calm and here and now. Every exhalation is a temporary death, expiring. Every inspiration, or we call as inhalation, is a new birth. Let's inspire and expire every moment. For alternative, starting from Ida. You can even mentally chant Omkar while breathing too. ओंकार संयुक्तं नित्यं गायन्ति योगिनः कामदं मोक्षदं चैव ओंकाराय नमो नमः।
talk about strategies that are designed to take $1 and turn it into $2, especially in your retirement accounts. Because Al, I think we have a lot of people listening right now that really have good size retirement accounts.